I'm Jim Gary at Batilla Workshop. I've had a week off because my son and his family were visiting for the past week, and this video shows a few odds and end projects around the shop. I put some nice castors on a work table that holds my joiner planer so I can more easily move it around. It was really hard dragging it around just without the castors. I also unboxed and set up a small Harbor Freight arbor press, and then I show the results of a couple of things my son and I did together. We built a crosscut sled from my table saw, and he showed me how to use a plastic welding kit he had sent me a couple of weeks ago. Upcoming on Friday, I'll have a tour of my shop, which I've never done before, and I hope to get back to working on the front brakes of my motorhome next week. If you're interested, there are links to my other videos in the description below, so please like and subscribe. Now, let's get on with the video. This is one of my work tables. And it's pretty heavy duty. I put the top on myself. Oh, it had a particle board top, so I put on a plywood top and put nice edging on it. This is years ago, and I used to use this as my main kind of woodworking work table. Now I'm using it to hold my joiner planer, and the joiner planer needs to be over here by the dust collection when I use it. So I decided to put wheels on it. So let's take a closer look. So I'll just pull it up. First thing you'll notice is that these are adjustable legs, and all the work tables I buy, I try to buy them with these adjustable legs. So this can go quite a bit higher or quite a bit lower, depending on what I want. And I'm tall, so I like to have my tables a little higher. So let's put this up. So here's the leveler that I'm going to replace with wheels. So if you look at this leveler, it's just a plain plastic bottom and it screws in, so you can adjust it quite a bit up and down. But I had to figure out what size it was, so let's go over here. Yeah, you can use thread gauges and stuff to figure out where your thread is, but I like these. And you see these at Home Depot and Lowe's or almost any hardware store, so you can test. But you can buy these for 30 bucks on Amazon, so it's great. And it turned out that this screw is M10 by 1.5. So I just had to go on Amazon and find some castors that were M10 by 1.5. And I wanted them to be locking castors, so that's what I got. So let's take a look. So these are the castors I bought, and they're not ideal. They're kind of small, but I'm sure they'll take the weight. It's not a really heavy thing. But they've got wheel locks on them too, which is nice. I don't like the fact this bolt's so short because you really can't adjust them a whole lot. And I'd have to put another nut on here to do that. But what I'm going to do is put them all on, see if it's even. If it's not, I'll put a few washers to compensate. So it just goes right in here. Screws in. And then I'll just put them all tight. I don't know if I can even fit this wrench. No. So I'll just hand tighten it. So it swivels and it locks. So that's pretty good. Ouch. So let's do the others. Another one. This set wasn't very expensive, obviously, because they're so small, I guess. I think they're going to be fine for this purpose. Just hand tighten, but it swivels just fine. And I'll go off camera and do the bottom too. So I've got all 4 castors on, so I'm going to put the table upright. And we'll see what we need to do to make sure it's not wobbly. It's not really wobbly. And now it moves really nicely, and it seems to be pretty even. So here's the planer joiner. I've had this for, I guess, about a year. When I was building the cabinets for the RV, I had to build a whole set of cabinets for the front, above where the driver and the passenger sit in the front, because they had all rotted from the old roof leak. So I got this thing, and to plane it, you put the boards down in here. To join, you run it along this edge. Let's put it back. Oh, this is so much easier than dragging it around. So this is where it's going to live. This is where it's been living, actually. But now it's so much easier to get there. And I can just leave it with the castors unlocked. And then when I need to use them, drag it out over by my dust collection system. So there we go. Small project, easy to do. My son and his family were visiting this week, and that's why I didn't put out any videos this week. But I'm starting up again, Tuesday and Fridays. He and I went to Harbor Freight, and we also went to Northern Tool just to look at tools. He's a big DIY guy himself, and he's really good at what he does, probably better than I am, except he doesn't do automotive stuff. And I have a big hydraulic press. It's in the other side of the shop, but a lot of times I just need a little arbor press just to press bearings and stuff in. And I saw this at Harbor Freight, and I went, wow, that's a good deal for $69. And then I didn't buy it because I thought, well, I'm not sure I need it. And then a couple of days later, we ended up in Harbor Freight again. And I thought, I still want that. So I went ahead and bought it. My plan is to store it on this bench. This is where I do most of my car-related mechanical stuff in the shop. So let me pull this out. And I'm sure this is not your best in the world ever arbor press, but since I have the big hydraulic press, I don't really need a really good one. I just need one little stuff with. So let's get this box out of here and let's see what we got. So, you know, my son doesn't have a lathe. He's got a mini mill, but he doesn't have a lathe. And he said with the lathe, I'll be able to make adapters to fit things that I want to press with this. So I've only seen this in the store. I've not fiddled with it, so let's see what's in here. Okay, so let's look at the instructions. So it looks like this plate has to go. There's a spring pin on it. It looks like it goes in this hole right here. So that goes in there like that. Then it looks like this just drops in. And then this has to be put in. So that's where the handle's going to go, but there's a ring on the other side. It's got an Allen wrench, Allen key. Let me find my metric one because I'm guessing it's metric. Yes, it is. So just loosen it up, put it on. There we go. And then the next thing is this handle. So there we go. We can go up and down. Pretty simple. There's a thing that goes on the end, sort of. And then this screws into here, and it's got a cam lock on it, so this is what keeps the handle where you want it. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, it's simple. It's supposed to be bolted down, but I'm not sure I'm going to have to. And my idea was just to keep it here, because I can pull my little bandsaw on the swag stand out, or I can pull this out to use it. If I need to bolt it, I'll set up a way to bolt it temporarily. But that's pretty neat. Sometimes simple tools are really nice. And I'm sure I know I've seen the bigger, fancier, more expensive arbor presses. They're much taller, bigger throw. But I think for just easy stuff, I can use this, and I still have my hydraulic press to use for the bigger stuff. So that's good. So one of the goals I had when he was here, my son was here, is he's made a lot of crosscut sleds. And I've never had one, and you know, I was waiting for him to come because he's made him a bunch. So we made this, and we used a plastic HDPE for the slides so they can't expand or contract. And we did all the accurate cutting for this, and I'm not going to go into exactly how we did it because there's a million YouTube videos on how to make these crosscut sleds. But you can make super accurate crosscuts without any big deal. So that's going to be nice. That was kind of fun. Another thing he suggested, and he actually bought it for me, he sent it to me about a month ago, but I never got into it, is a plastic welding gun. And I'd seen them, but I didn't really understand how they worked or anything. So there's a gun here. It's got two leads here, and in them is that's like a funnel, and it goes into a little tiny hole. And then it has various shaped wires that you can then put in here. Just stick them in those holes like that. And then you plug it in, of course, and then you just put, if you have two pieces of plastic you want to melt together, you just pull the trigger and this thing will get really hot and it'll just sink right into that plastic. It's kind of amazing. And then you keep it there till it's just about right, then you let go of the trigger, wait about 10-15 seconds, and then you pull this out and that stays in. And then after it dries, you come in with your clippers and clip off the pieces that stick out, and this wavy part stays embedded in the plastic, and it's amazing how strong it can be. We fixed a couple of things, and this was one of the neater ones. This is a pooper scooper, that's no big deal. And here's the handle, and I'd somehow broken the handle on this side, and that's really hard to fix. If you glued it, you know it'd just come apart again. So we sank one of these in here till it was buried. And then we did a different kind. They have all kinds of different types. And then we put one of these in on this side and another one on this side, embedded them fully in there, and then trimmed off the excess. And this thing is good as new. And he said that this has become his favorite tool for fixing things, because there was no way to fix plastic stuff except gluing it. And you know, you probably know that doesn't last usually. But he said these just don't give up. So I'm pretty excited about those. We fixed a couple other things this way, but I'll have it as a tool to use in the future. I'm just making a custom case for it. I'm waiting for some glue to dry, but this will fit right in here. And it comes with 8 different shapes of those metal connectors. You can find them on Amazon. They sell them at Harbor Freight. Well, that about wraps it up. A few odds and ends that might be of interest. And thanks for watching. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Bye.